and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the history of the PRR Class S2 steam turbine locomotive built by the Pennsylvania Railroad, and why every single train you see of this is a 6200 number train. All your model trains will have that number, and why. So if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe, and let's get right to it. So first, let's start with the basics of the history of this. This locomotive was owned by the Pennsylvania Railroad. Basically was built to be, I believe, the largest hardworking steam locomotive they built. It was built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works, which literally almost got them bankrupt. This locomotive, I think, was a very bad idea. Really was. This is the only one that was built, okay? So that is why there's only one built, because, like I said, they almost went bankrupt by building this one, which was a very bad idea. Basically, it was very expensive, and I will tell you later. It was delivered in late-ish November in 1944. And it was basically scrapped in May 1952. Yeah, I believe it was the largest, heaviest, and fastest direct drive steam turbine locomotive ever built in the US. Yeah, so let's get more into this. So earlier this week, I did learn why the big boy under the 4014 had 4884. Well, if you didn't know that either, it was basically because it was the wheel arrangement. So I will tell you on this one. Basically the S2 was a sole example of the 686 wheel arrangement, with a 6-wheel leading truck and 8 driving wheels and 6 wheels trailing truck. So basically, in the front of the locomotive, it had 6 wheels. In the middle, where the rods were, it had 8, and at the back, it had 6. So, which is also answering the 686. So I'm going to read a paragraph here from this website I found to make so you guys don't get confused of what I'm saying. So this will make a lot more sense to you guys. So, the locomotive was to be 484, but the wartime restrictions on the light steel alloys and decreased weight until 6-wheel leading and trailing trucks were needed, and construction were also delayed by World War II. Construction of the locomotive took at the Baldwin plant in Idstone. 2 turbines were fitted, for one forward travel and smaller one for reversing speeds up to 22 miles per hour. Superheated steam at a rate about 2,000 pounds per hour was directed onto the turbine blades for 4 nozzles. Thousands of turbine blades transmitted from steam energy to transpiration gear. The maximum rotation speed of the 4 turbines is 9,000 RPM, developing 6,900 HP. The reverse turbine gains 1,500 HP at 8,300 RPM. Monitoring system ensured that the forward turbine could only be started when the reverse turbine was switched off. That is a lot. I'm reading this article, and there's a lot I didn't know. So, in a couple of these pictures that you're looking at, that's going to come up in the future, you'll notice it has elephant ears. Well, I'm going to read why did it have elephant ears. So here we go. Apparently, these weren't adult. I don't know how to say that. So a much larger pair will take like elephant ears used on the New York Central Class S1B484 Niagara and Union Pacific FEF3484 was added to the Altoona Works in December 1946. So it looks like the elephant ears were basically really popular in 1946 to help with smoke, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm very, wow, this is nuts. So the train was built in 1941. Total produced was 1. That's why in every single picture you're seeing it was a 6200. Its length was 122 feet. Its height was 16 feet. The locomotive weighed 589,920 pounds. The tender weighed 442,180 pounds. Its total weight was 1,032,100 pounds. That is huge. It drove off of Burnham's coal. Its water capacity was 19,500 gallons. It did have a firebox. It was nicknamed the Big Whoosh. Yeah, and it last ran in June 11th, 1949, and was scrapped by May 29th, 1952. Basically with this locomotive, it was during like the Depression during World War II, and the Baldwin Locomotive Works was on a crisis, so they built this locomotive, but that just did not do so well for them, and they basically went down because of this locomotive. I don't think they're still around, but if they're not around, this locomotive is basically their answer. So here's a picture of the locomotive with the elephant ears. Here's another locomotive. Here's the inside. It is nuts. It's pretty cool. You know what? It looks like a lot, but really it's not. Here's another picture of it. This one looks a little bit more black to it, which it looks okay. And if you guys didn't notice yet, I have this train. So I do have this locomotive myself. Basically, I will play the sound for you of what this train sounded like, but it did not sound like what my train does sound like. It wasn't that chugging sound like a normal steam train would chug. It was a really different sound. So here is the sound. Here, don't forget, guys, since we're about to end the video here, don't forget, I am posting a video on June 27th. The times don't worry about, but my day out with Thomas is up and running. I got my Thomas running. The old boy is there, have fun, display. So I'll do a video about that and how I like to work it. And also, after I do the Day Out with Thomas video, if you haven't seen my one short, I am doing a history video on the Big Boy 4005. I know a lot more about that. Not so much this. I'm basically just went off a website here. Sorry. But I basically did a lot of research on this train. So I will basically do a history video on that. I know a lot about it. You can also go see this train today. I will talk more about that in the video after my Day Out with Thomas video. Also, thank you again to Ryan Rail Fanning 2011, and CN Fan Rails. I will put their YouTube channels in the description. And if you like this video again, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye now.